Hello, good evening and welcome to the program. This is the Limelight and my name is Prince Apollo. This evening on the Limelight, we look at the internal disciplinary mechanism in the Uganda police force, and we also interrogate its effectiveness in handling matters of misconduct within the police force. On the program this evening, we have Commissioner of Police Muleterwa Anatoli, and he is the Commissioner Community Policing. Welcome to the program.
Thank you, Apollo. Good evening once again.
Yes.
Our esteemed listeners and viewers, once again, good evening.
Afande Muleterwa, take us through the process of filing complaints or petitions. For instance, if a police officer has been involved in acts of misconduct, especially against civilians, how do I petition? How do I log in my complaint so that I also receive justice as a civilian?
Now, there we have an investigative arm of the police against the police officers. Like you may have the police investigating and compiling evidence against civilians all out there on offenses that are against the laws of Uganda. You see, the police of Uganda is mandated with the role of maintaining law and order.
Sure.
And also compiling evidence against any person who breaches the laws of Uganda. Now, whereas the police can compile that evidence against any mwananchi, we have a similar unit which compiles the evidence against any errant police officer. And that unit is called our Professional Standard Unit. The Professional Standard Unit has a number of regional representation. In all the regions of Uganda, we have 31 police regions. PSU has a regional representation. Therefore, those regional offices of PSU are supposed or do conduct investigations against complaints of police officers that have not been up to standards in as far as professionalism is concerned. Professionalism requires that you do things in a manner that fits the organization in the eyes of the public, in the eyes of the community, in the eyes of those who are aggrieved. You may find that, for example, when somebody is investigating a case, instead of compiling all evidence and putting it there, he may black out. Or he may be able to connive with the complainant, or he may be able to connive with the suspect. So that is the beginning of which you, as an aggrieved party, can now go to Professional Standard Unit. Now, you can either go to those regional offices that I've mentioned, or you can go to the headquarters. And the headquarters of our professional unit Professional Standard Unit is in Bukoto, and it is headed by Senior Commissioner of Police.
Okay.
Now, what happens when you go to Bukoto? You compile, you give in your information. This information is in form of a complaint. They give you an SD reference. That file is assigned to an officer who then has the role of coming to you there in the field to begin compiling evidence. Evidence will require even going to see the records, the files, the witnesses. Now, when that is done, that person, that officer comes back, writes his or her report, is given to the chief investigating officer in PSU, who, on behalf of the commandant, forwards that report to the legal directorate, and that is the Directorate of Legal and Human Rights Services. The Directorate of Legal has an acting commissioner who handles disciplinary complaints against police officers. That officer is mandated to read through your file. Upon reading through, he then prefers a charge. Now, the charges which are supposed to be labeled or which are put on our officers are clearly laid down in the Police Act. These are quite different. They are quite different in a way. They are supposed to enhance discipline.
Yeah.
But if you have found such a person that, if you are found in a manner that indeed your conduct is grossly abusing the power that would be in you, these, they are different offenses. We have what we call irregular conduct, negligence of duty, failure to supervise, discreditable conduct. The maximum of it is scandalous behavior. Because for a scandalous behavior once preferred against our police officer, that you have behaved in a manner that brings total disrepute to the organization in the name of the Uganda Police Force, then that means you, as we call them defaulters, you are called to go to a court, depending on the 3 levels of a court. I've told you we have the lower court, we have the regional court, and the appellate court. If you are supposed to go at the lower court, that means the DPC is directed by the Directorate of Legal to constitute a disciplinary court against you, the defaulter.
Okay.
Now, that court has 3 members. It has a chairman, it has a member, it has a prosecutor, and then the 4th person is the court orderly. The court orderly is that person who marches in the defaulter. Now, the chairperson must be of a rank higher than that of the defaulter.
Okay.
And even the members should be of a rank higher than that of the defaulter. So, they then bring in the file. They bring you to before them. They read for you your charges. But at this level, you as a complainant is informed to come.
Okay.
Because at a given time, you must come and give witness statement in our court.
So there are no incidents where the complainant is not involved or does not witness the proceedings of the court?
You are informed, you are invited to give witness statement.
Okay.
Even at the end of the day, you are given a report depending on what the decisions or the final verdict for which the court would have reached at. However, like I've said, justice means fair and just.
Yes.
When you are a defaulter, does not mean that this court will convict you. It will give you an opportunity to explain, to explain yourself. And if it is true that the evidence which has been brought is overwhelming, then they will have to reach a decision. Like I've told you, depending on the offense, if it is scandalous behavior, the decision of the law court will be total dismissal.
Okay.
You'll be.
Fundamentally, let's talk about a case like assault. A police officer has assaulted a civilian. How severe is such a case, and what penalty can that attract?
Now, that case has two sides, two interpretations. One, whereas as police we are mandated to enforce the law and have the power and authority, the Police Act demands of 2 clear principles. The principle of discretion. How do you apply the power? If somebody, for example, is holding a stone, maybe wants to throw to you against the stone, wants to throw a stone against you, or if not a stone, he slaps you, do you need to turn the muzzle of a gun and point at him?
Yeah.
2, if that person, you have directed him and said, I am Leterwa, and therefore you have violated the laws of Uganda, you are under arrest. And indeed, the suspect succumbs. Do you need to slap that person? No. So, if that is true, that that person has succumbed, and then you begin slapping that person, there are two levels in which such a person can undergo. One, that person can undergo criminal and also can undergo civil.
Yeah.
I mean, can undergo disciplinary.
Yeah.
Yeah, because our disciplinary cases are against the image of the force and the integrity of the commander, who is the accounting officer, the Inspector General of Police. So any case, it is done on behalf of the Inspector General of Police, upon whom all those levels of course that I've mentioned arrive at a decision that must be brought to the attention of the Inspector General of Police.
Like I said, if a case involves a police officer slapping or assaulting an innocent civilian, what penalties or what charge?
But Apollo, one thing you need to know.
Does that tantamount to scandalous behavior?
The word innocent is relative. It depends on, because like somebody said, beauty is in the hands of the beholder.
Sure.
You cannot say innocent because you are not at the scene of crime. You know, like some of you, most instances, the media, you want always to pass judgment before. Please don't always give the due process to exonerate the matter and say, indeed, this person was slapped out of innocence. But when we are all not there, it becomes very difficult for you to state innocence and even... but depending on whatever, like I've told you, if, you know, there are certain ingredients. I've told you the charges. We have discreditable conduct, which has its ingredients. We have scandalous behavior, which has its ingredients. We have cases of negligence, which has its ingredients. We have failure to supervise, which all have its ingredients. So it depends on the ingredients of the case and the evidence that would have been adduced. For example, you know, when you are talking about the case of assault, assault has categories. There is what we call common assault. For example, when I do this to you, sorry for that matter, please don't quote me and say, even Military wanted to slap you, but I'm giving a demonstration. But if you say like this, that is a common assault.
Even if you do not, slap or assault a person directly, it's common assault.
It is common assault. If I wrestle you or push you, it is common assault. If I slapped you on whatever, it's common assault. However, there are other categories of assault that we need to look at. For example, those that can lead to bodily harm. For example, your body has bruises and whatever. So that is one. Then there is what we call grievous bodily harm. Now, depending on the magnitude, the level of inflict of damage, on your, or injuries on your body. So, but under which all that is assault. But like you go to the office of DPP, for example, you can state common assault. But when evidence is adduced and put on file, then a case file is compiled and taken to the DPP. The DPP then guides and say, no, please, basing on evidence so and so, the section of the law according to the penal code states A, B, C, D. Therefore, this person, charge him this and bring the case to court. The same is also to us. If, for example, all evidence... Now, who are those who bring evidence? The one who bring evidence to our courts of law is the PSU that we started earlier on with. So if evidence was adduced, put on file, then upon compiling it and brought, then the chairman, I mean the prosecutor, not chairman, the prosecutor will sit, because our prosecutor in the case of disciplinary is always a detective who will also quote sections of the law according to the Police Act and say, Indeed, Mleterwa is fruit for common assault, grievous bodily harm, or harm. Yes.
According to the penalties, what could be the lowest or the highest penalty?
We have about four penalties.
Especially for assault. In a case of assault.
No. Don't talk about assault there, because like I've told you,
it has many ingredients.
Yeah,
like you said.
depending on the ingredients of the assault.
Okay.
But the ingredient, I mean the penalties for any person who would have
misconduct,
who would have conducted himself in a manner that contravenes the discipline and professional code of conduct of the Uganda Police Force are about four. One is reprimand.
Okay.
You see, people think like in a family, if a child has done something and say, "Mwana gwe tochidangam," in law,
that is a penalty,
and that is a penalty, because you would have sentenced. It is called caution.
Yeah, caution.
Which is even provided for in courts of law. Which is even provided for example, in courts of law, in the Traffic and Road Safety Act, and even when you go, the court has the discretion powers to, on it, at its discretion to do whatever. So there is a reprimand. There is severe reprimand.
Yeah.
There is severe reprimand.
That's another one.
Yes, which is higher than, but all of these are documented.
Okay.
They are documented. There is even writing an apology. You write an apology. There is also an instance where, depending on what you have done, where you are supposed to pay a third of your salary. You forfeit a third of your salary to the consolidated power, which is a fine.
Yeah.
You pay a fine. There is a sentence of deduction in rank, where if, say you are ASP, you can be demoted to IP.
Yes.
If you are IP, you can be demoted to AIP, depending on the magnitude of the offense. Then the other one is dismissal from the force.
Dismissal from the force.
That is the maximum.
That's the maximum sentence.
You are dismissed from court under disgrace. And secondly, when you are dismissed from court, I mean by the force, you are not supposed to get any gratuity nor pension. You go barehanded. If you served in the force for say 40 years and you have committed such an indisciplinado that leads to your dismissal, you go empty-handed. And as your sweat is forfeited.
As we prepare to conclude this interview, Afande Muleterwa, for instance, how long is the process for anyone to get justice if he or she petitions the disciplinary court of the Uganda Police Force? Is it a long process or a shorter process?
No, it is shorter because we have had instances when even a court can sit in a week and concludes that matter. It is longer because there are instances when it can even take a year. It all depends on two things. One, the availability of evidence, and when you as a complainer can be able to cooperate with us in following up your matter. But two, it also depends on the availability of officers in that unit who can try that office.
Okay.
For example, at my level,
Commissioner of Police.
Yes. By then we have two levels. There is what we call the police council, and there is what we call the police authority. Now, any indiscipline exhibited by an officer of a rank below, of a rank of SSP and below, it is under the police council. And under the police council, it is purely in the hands of IGP. Whereas any person of a rank from assistant commissioner and above is police authority. And the police authority, the chairman of the police authority is the minister. So you can see the level of intricacy. So it depends on how
the rank of the offender.
Leave alone that, even when that information is brought to the action officer.
Okay.
Yes, because you cannot act against any person, especially if he's at the rank of SSP, without the consent of IGP. IGP must consent, must approve. It must be brought to him, because all of us are under IGP. But for any indiscipline of that nature, he must be brought. I mean, he must be made to know. Then this one also, the minister is informed, and similar procedures take place.
Okay. Among the penalty, the sentences laid out in the law, is there anything like compensation to the victim?
No, no. We are not looking about compensation. We are looking at justice. You know, let me inform our esteemed listeners. Our courts are not constituted to compensate, but they are there to perform three roles. One, to instill discipline and enable our police officer behave in a manner that does not cause disrepute against the force. That is one. Two, the police is there to administer justice, and therefore justice does not end and stop, does not start and stop at compensation. It means that this officer, who could have taken himself and glorified himself maybe to be superior, has brought to a level to understand that indeed his act against Apollo could not really make him really to assume the powers that he had to be. So at the end of the day, you go satisfied when you realize that this person has either one, been given a reprimand, a serious reprimand or a severe reprimand, has been directed to a fine, but that fine does not go to the pocket of the complainant, or an individual police officer. It goes to consolidated fund. That is the fund which benefits all of us.
Do you have references of cases where police officers have been taken through this disciplinary system, and actually some of them received severe punishment?
Several. You see, the biggest problem, which I don't want to put a blanket blame, but some individual media houses, they just don't want to follow some of the precedents, some of the areas where the police has taken very serious action. We have a scenario where our own, who was a DPC Old Kampala, was taken to court in a disciplinary court. He was a DPC. He was at the rank of an SP. Superintendent of police. Yes, he lost a job, and it was courtesy of the police disciplinary court. Then these other people took him to, because I told you, in a case of assault, has two ways. You can handle it criminally, you can handle it disciplinary, you can handle it both. But for the case of the police went ahead and punished its own. It dismissed him with under disgrace. And that is one example. There are so many. What I would request you one.
Are you talking about the case of, was it Aaron?
It was Andrew.
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 The NBS, yes, WBS journalist.
Yes. Does that officer have a job in the force?
Okay.
He was dismissed. And it's not only one. There are several. But sometimes people all out there want to insinuate, want to bias, want to do whatever. Please, I want to appeal to every Ugandan. Justice does not mean that it is you alone who is entitled. It is incumbent that if you are a complainant, follow the right procedure, and those procedures will be exhausted to enable you get justice. Therefore, hold us in high esteem to serve you. 2, any act or omission or inaction by an individual police officer should not be blanketed on the entire organization, because that organization called the Uganda Police Force includes you. We cannot exist without you. The power of the police is because the community is there and we need to work with you. I want to call upon you that for anybody who feels aggrieved, please cooperate with us. We shall be able to administer justice like any other person who is entitled to. But like you are entitled to justice, equally so are the policemen. You know, there are instances when you tend to misbehave against the policemen and you assume we are not entitled. Please, what is good for the gander is good for the goose. I thank you.
Thank you so much, Fande Anatoli Muleterwa, the Commissioner for Community Policing. And we've been speaking about the mechanisms within the police force to enforce discipline within the police officers, and whether the system is effective, transparent and accountable. That's it from Afande Muleterwa. Until we meet in another episode of The Limelight, good evening. God bless you. God bless Uganda.